Something I found interesting about intimate apparel was how Lynn Nottage chose to make Esther she was a master seamstress for the intimate apparel, but when it comes to her own intimate relationship, she was so inept, not realizing that maybe like marrying a stranger without meeting them wasn't a great idea. And I thought that was a deliberate choice on Nottage's part to show a stark contrast and show that what we can provide for others, we can't always provide ourselves. Some values I thought were being represented in this dramatic world were being hardworking was a common theme throughout the play, because all of the characters are doing some sort of strenuous work to make ends meet. Esther's working really hard to make all the intimate apparel. Mamie was exotic dancing, and George doing hard labor in the Panama Canal, and then also the idea of like being truthful with each other and being truthful with oneself, because I think deep down Esther knew she liked Mr. Marks, but wasn't really being truthful with herself. Something I researched further about this play was the geographical region of Barbados, the island of George's home, because I wasn't really sure how close it was to Panama, how close it was to the U.S. in general, and I found that it wasn't exactly close to the Panama Canal, and by today's standards, it would take 8 hours by plane to get from the island of Barbados to the Panama Canal, which I thought was interesting, which really put in perspective how large of a project this was, how far people were coming to work on it. The relationship of intimate apparel to the representation of African American experience, I think Lynn Nottage was reinforcing the understanding of the African American experience, showing that Esther and Mamie both came to the city hoping for a better life than what their small towns were offering, and both women had to work extremely hard, and at the end of the play, they don't really have any significant difference from when they came to the city in terms of accumulating wealth. Some stereotypes that African Americans and other groups exist today, I think they obviously do still exist, and this can be seen in a modern example of the Black Lives Matter and the Blue Lives Matter movements. And I think something that's important for us to realize in terms of breaking stereotypes is I think we need to be open-minded and realize that not everyone is going to fit a stereotype. We do have stereotypes because, for some individuals it's true, otherwise they wouldn't exist. However, when we meet a new person, we shouldn't judge them solely on what box they fit in. We should give them a chance to be their own person and break that stereotype, which is something I think we all should keep in mind. And then 2 questions of my own that I have for everyone else are why doesn't Esther tell Mamie right away that George is the man after seeing the jacket that Mamie shows? I thought it was interesting that she waited. And then my second question is why does Mr. Marks finally decide to resew or replace the button that's missing on his jacket?